so I want to talk about the 373, and this is now all extra credit. I'll change this. I thought I'd already changed it. Because there's so many problems with this project, I decided to just make it extra credit. This is where we hit a bunch of Velociraptor features that just don't work very well. It worked when I wrote the project, and it works sometimes when I demonstrate it, but a lot of students are having trouble. So I took away the due date for it. Yeah, it used to be due next time. It's no longer required. It's extra credit if you can do it, because significant parts of it you're probably going to have to just abandon if they don't work on your system. So the point of this is you got another pup you infect your machine with. So you infect it with this simulated botnet, run this thing, and I probably haven't already done that on this machine though, so let me do that. I've got to download this file. I guess I'll download it inside my virtual machine. I really don't know if I can drag and drop into this ARM-based machine I'm using. I don't care about that. Start new session. All right, there we are, good. Now I want to go to 152, projects, T73. All right, and there's the malware. So download this stuff. All right, and unzip it. Looks like maybe I already have unzipped it on this machine. Extract all, extract, and then you run up. You got to use malware. All right, and I can see I've already done it on this machine, so I won't continue. All you do is you run bginfo64, and that will launch it in as a DIL. I've already done it on this machine, so I should be performing the botnet where it's sending off beacons every 30 seconds. All right, and so now we're going to investigate it with Velociraptor. So I'm going to have to probably regenerate the Windows client here, because when I relog in here, I'm going to have a different IP address. So I figured it wouldn't be bad to demonstrate that again anyway. So if I go here, let's see what my IP address is. That's true. Actually, this IP address doesn't matter. What matters is the IP address of my my Mac host system. So let me get up here. I do not have, there we are. All right. So if I go to 152, it's here in Velociraptor. Yep, there we are. All right. So here I have downloaded the Windows Velociraptor and the Darwin Velociraptor. And I have repackaged Velociraptor, but that's using this client configuration. And the problem is that's got an IP address in it. So first I need the IP address of this machine, which is this. All right. And like I say, this is DHCP here, so I'm pretty sure every time I come back to class, it's going to be different. So I have to regenerate my Windows client. So this is 207. And so now I will add the client config. And yep, okay, I got to do Control W, Control R. I got to replace 192.168.11.18 with the right IP address of my machine 5 times. Oh, just one. Oh, okay, I thought it was in here more than that. Well, I'd say the only thing I need is the server URL of this one. Okay, fair enough. All right, hopefully that will work. Now I need to repackage the YAML, the Windows client. So that'd be down here in 371. There we are, adding a Windows client. That's the command I need. The Velociraptor config repack exe. Okay, I'll just put this somewhere I can see it and try doing it. So it's my Velociraptor executable, then config repack exe, then the Velociraptor Windows thing. No, it was 1-1. Okay, Windows, and then client config.yaml repackaged. Okay, client config.yaml, and then repackaged Velociraptor, I'm going to call it vpackage Velociraptor 2. All right. Okay, so now I've done that. Now I need to take the old one and stop it running. If I look at services on my Windows machine, I will find a Velociraptor service. There it is. It's currently running. And so to get rid of it, I need to have an administrator command prompt, which appears like it's actually a PowerShell prompt on this Windows 11 I'm using, but that's fine. It works. It's actually, I guess, the new terminal. Anyway, whatever it is, it works for command prompt. So now I got to go into downloads. I think it might be in documents. That's where it is. There, and now I do a dir. There it is, repackaged Velociraptor. So I can run it and then do help, because I need to figure out how to uninstall it. And you'll find it up here, service install, service remove is what I have to do to get rid of it. So I run it, service remove. All right, that should have gotten rid of it. So let's see if it's gone now. And it's still there. Maybe I just need to refresh this though. Action, refresh. Yeah. Yep, now it's gone. Good. So now I get rid of the old one. Now I need to get the new one. So I need to run WinSCP, which is right here. And now I will again need the IP address of my machine. I've wiped the clipboard, but I can't paste from this clipboard. So let's get it out here. ifconfig en0. All right, there it is, 172.17. 172.17. 24, 207. All right. And I wonder who I am on this machine. Does who am I work on Linux? It does. Okay, I'm Sam Bound. All right. On this Mac, rather. Sam. Okay. Got to put in a name and password. If I can remember it. There. Okay. Continue connecting. All right, and so in Velociraptor folder is the repackaged, let's see, that might be the one. I need to make that column, I should be able to make that column wider. Up there, there we are. There, I want the repackaged Velociraptor 2. Okay, good. There we are, good. No point saving this workspace. All right, so now I do a dir, and I have repackaged Velociraptor 2. Good. So let's run that one. 2 service install. All right, now I need to run Velociraptor on my host system, which again will be here in 371. Back up here. It's somewhere up here. Yeah, you run it with that config file. Okay, I want all this junk after the Windows Linux executable. So I go to my Mac command prompt and run the Darwin with that stuff there, and whoa, I can't assign listeners right. The same thing happened here. I need to adjust that other config too. I need to put the right address in it. So I need to edit this file, and I need to put in the right address. So I'm going to copy this name, and I'm going to open another command prompt so I can have the ifconfig en0 here visible so I can see it. All right. And now I'm going to put it in here, sudo nano, here, password. Okay, now I got to do this. Got to change the old one, 192, 168, 1118, and replace it with this. And And that's the one that should be in here 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there we go. Now it will be able to run Velociraptor. There we go. And so this is the URL to control my Velociraptor instance, and I should be finally on the road. I sort of like using a different browser for this for no incredibly brilliant reason, but I've sort of gotten used to keeping them separated. So there we go. All right, so I've got Velociraptor, and I should have a Windows client. And I do have a Windows client. It's got a red dot there, it turned green. Okay, it's connected, I'm in business. So now I can do things. Now, the first thing you have to do, which is the most fun, is collect the network traffic. So I'm just going to go down here, connect to your client. Now, you're going to connect with Windows Network Packet Capture. And I'm going to shove this off the screen. All right. And now I can read it and do things live here. So I'm going to go to, I think, collected. There we are. Now I add Windows Network Packet Capture. Windows Network Packet Capture. And the way this works, you run it the first time to start packet capturing with some kind of internal Windows netsh command, and then the second time you run it to stop it. So the first time, I think you just run it with no parameters. Yep. I need a time. Down here in the corner, I can see it's 3:24:09. So I'll launch it. Okay, there it goes. I launched it at 09. Okay, and now I want to let it go. I want to wait a minute before I launch it again. But in the meantime, I'm going to go here to the results, and there should be an ETL file, and there it is. I need this path to the ETL file, and we're going to need it again later. It's just C Windows System Temp nettraces nettrace.etl. So that is the file it's creating. It's collecting the network traffic now, and to stop it from collecting, I have to run the same thing again. And I have to go in the parameters and put in that path. There. That's the path to the trace file, and this will stop the trace. And I want to wait until 10 seconds after, or 15. I see it's just coming around again, so it won't be long. That way I'll get a whole minute of data, and since my beacons every 30 seconds, I should get at least one beacon in there. Yep, that's good enough. So I'll launch this one. There it goes. All right, now the uploaded files, let's see how this is going. It's doing something, all right. netsh trace stop, it's stopping the collection. All right, and when it's done, it will upload the file, and it will attempt to convert it from this Microsoft ETL format to PCAPNG that you can open in Wireshark. Unfortunately, it doesn't work very well. There, it's done. So now if I go to results, uploaded files, there they are. Here's the PCAPNG. Here's the original ETL file, and here's the PCAPNG file. So if I click on this, it downloads it, and then I should be able to open it on this machine. All right, and when I open it, by double-clicking it, I get, oh good, I get to demonstrate, this is what happens to a lot of students. You get this damaged or corrupt. It only happens sometimes. It doesn't happen at home on my Intel-based Mac, but it's happening here on this system. So anyway, if this happens, there is a workaround for this, although it's not pretty, which is there is a Microsoft tool to convert this, and you have to download it and run it. So I added it to the instructions. Let's get rid of this garbage. Okay, so let me get rid of this. All right, so I added that here because students were having that problem. The workaround I know is to go download the Microsoft tool. So it should be here. Maybe I have to refresh this. Should be a troubleshooting, or maybe somehow I didn't upload the new version of this. How rude. I've added it to these instructions, or so I thought I did, but now I'm not finding it. All right, there's a Microsoft tool you have to download and run it on the Windows machine. So I'll get it, convert ETL to PCAP-NG. There's a Microsoft tool, and for some reason Velociraptor doesn't seem to have the latest version of this tool. There it is, and somehow my attempt to update the instructions has not worked. But anyway, here it is, and the pre-built binaries are in the release folder. So I'll put this in the chat if there's anybody watching who got stuck at this point. And I'll try again when I get home to somehow update my revised version of this project that tells you to do this. So you have to run this thing, which is a Windows tool. So I need to do that inside my Windows machine. So it's convert, now get rid of this garbage, back. Microsoft has, of course, changed all the key presses, so nothing works. Okay, convert ETL to PCAP-NG. There we are. And it's here. All right, in fact, I think I've already downloaded and unzipped it because I tested this project there where I thought I updated it. Somehow I failed to get the update saved, and now I've got some kind of garbage in instead of the normal view. Downloads. ETL to PCAP-NG. That's the compressed folder, and here's the unzipped folder. So it's in here. Then there's x64. It's a command line tool. So you have to run, and on top of that, you need an administrator command prompt to get at the original file. So it's terminal. Whoops, I need administrator. There, run as administrator. All right, now I need to go in that folder. One thing I like about Windows 11 is when you open an administrator command prompt, it actually starts in your profile folder instead of starting in C Windows System 32, which is one of the annoyances. So they actually fixed something that's nice. Downloads and ETL, and x64. All right, and there's the tool we need, and I need to run it on that path from Velociraptor, which was here. C Windows System Temp Net Traces. So it's and I think I found here, okay, in file, out file, very simple. Okay, so in file is C Windows System Temp Net Traces, I think. Net Traces, Net Trace, okay. There, nettrace.etl, and I want it to be here. In fact, I wanted it to, well, I could put it here, that'd be all right, and I'm going to call it demo.pcap-ng. All right, it's converted something. Now, if I do a directory, there I have it, demo.pcap-ng. So, there it is, demo, so you can open it here, and now it works. Now you can see the traffic. So that's pretty sleazy. There probably is some way to convert it from the other end, but only if you have a Windows machine at the other end, because as far as I know, this software only exists for Windows. So anyway, now I think you want to find the beacons, and I think you just need to search for HTTP. We'll find the beacon. That's one way. In the instructions for this project, I did it another similar, essentially identical way, doing statistics, conversations, and then you can see the ports and conversations, and you'll see I've got to go to TCP there. And so you see some conversations on 8,000, that's Velociraptor, and 50,000 and 443, I don't know what that stuff is. This is HTTPS. But anyway, this is the one on port 80 is the one you want. So right click, apply as filter, selected, A to B. And now, there. Now you see that this one here seems to be an HTTPS for some reason, so I think I got the wrong one. So let me clear this. Somehow I hit the wrong thing. Capture statistics, conversations, TCP, there's 80. Right click, apply as filter, selected, A to B, and I don't know what this is, close, there. And still somehow it seems, maybe it's, no, it's giving me TLS somehow. So is this really going to port 80? Somehow I'm not seeing the port. Let's try following TCP stream. See if there's another stream. All right, I don't know what happened to go wrong there. There's the actual one. Somehow I kept getting the wrong one. This is the actual, I gotta somehow get back to that window. All right, this is the actual beacon, the security report, which is, so now we know it's connecting to this URL, securityreport.samsclass.info. Anyway, that's the first unpleasant workaround. And there are more. Like I say, today we're seeing Velociraptor, the dark side, where it doesn't work very well. All right. Hopefully they will get around to updating and making it a commercial product and fixing these bugs. Rapid7 has owned it for about a year, and they haven't fixed this stuff yet. Well, I'm still using an old version here, though. If it can make the latest version work, they got, then maybe it'd be all right. But anyway, the latest version, they broke regular expression. So, you know, it's what you get for using free tools. For example, the next one is really annoying, the DNS cache. It is definitely sending traffic to securityreport.samsclass.info every few seconds. So it should be in the DNS cache. And so let's try that. DNS cache. You know, every time you do a DNS resolution on a Windows machine, it caches it for like 2 minutes. So you can easily see all the URLs that anybody has been using for the last couple of minutes. And this is beaconing every 30 seconds. So this should be a piece of cake, and see, it is for me. There's the list, and somewhere in this mess will be 143. Boy, that's rude. Somewhere in this mess will be Sam's class .info. 143. Boy, that's real extreme. Example.com. I could probably run it again. If that's going to happen, you didn't have to do this in the project. I never saw one be that big. But if it's going to be like that, you can actually use the parameters, I think, to narrow it down. It's a security test.samsclass.info. Well, there are no parameters. Well, that's rude. All right. Then there's no point running it again. Anyway, somewhere in that list will be the good one. And I'll just go to my instructions because it's not worth worrying about. Because anyway, the problem, you'll eventually see this one. Now, the problem is, I had students demonstrate, it just comes out totally blank for some of the students. And even when you go on your machine, this is just a simple command line command, ipconfig/display DNS. And I saw students would go on their Windows machine and type in that command, and it's just blank here. So it seems like maybe it's a defect of Windows. See, there it is, the DNS cache. It's right there. But I've seen students where this is just blank. So it seems to be some kind of Windows defect. Anyway, so like I say, again, in the revised version of this project, which somehow I failed to upload, I'm telling you, you might have to just skip that flag if it doesn't work. So on you go. And then you can look for files that contain security report on them to see what other files are involved in the attack, which we've done before using a Yara collector. And so when you do, you'll find out that the only file involved is just this one. C users download security test.exe. And then you can find a persistence mechanism. This one also did not work on some systems. That's why I made this thing extra credit at this point. You have to install Sysmon. And once you install Sysmon, then you will find registry events. Goodness, one of my images is too big. All right, I've got to work on this. Looks like my attempt to improve it has not worked as well as I hoped. Anyway, that's why. So once you put on Sysmon, then you can look for Sysmon registry events, which are kind of interesting with EVTX Hunter. And you should be able to find events that show a process being launched. And here it is showing a parent command line launching it. You'll find a process is created exactly on the start of every minute, as shown below. suggesting the use of scheduled tasks. Although this image seems to be strangely cut off. Here they are, 1311, 1312, 1313 there. You can get the startup processes, and you can see a process created every minute. So that tells you have scheduled tasks, and you can find the SVC host thing that launches scheduled tasks. And then you can just query task scheduler. This one might work. Let me try this one, Windows System Task Scheduler. And they all did work a year or two ago when I tried this, but several of them are working pretty badly now. Well, that's not it. I got to launch this task scheduler. All right, Windows System Task Scheduler. Let's try launching it and see what it does. All right, it got 214 items, so it's working. And I wonder if there's a way to narrow it down. Let's see if I put any tips in my instructions. Find the beaconing one. Well, you know the command will include security test, so I probably can limit it by that. Let's see. Task scheduler. I guess it's supposed to be highlighted. Configure parameters. Nope. Wait. All right, what's going on here? I click it. Nothing happens. All right, now it's something might have happened. Well, I appear to have some kind of weird problem. Task, S, click it, configure parameters, there we go. All right, task path is here, there we are. So that task path will contain security tests. There, so that should limit it. And now I think I'm getting 0 results. Let me check my instructions again. It should totally have security test in it. So looks like this is not working either. So that's, like I say, this one here is pretty frustrating. And I'm not going to struggle with it anymore. This is what students are finding. So, you know, it's worth extra credit if you can get some portions of this to work. But unfortunately, this seems to hit the limit of stuff you can actually do with Velociraptor on a reliable basis. And you can actually configure a hunt that does a bunch of these things all at once, and then you can configure it to go to a lot of machines. But anyway, it's kind of a mess, and I'm just going to stop that one at this point. So